Hi, I'm Tim. Welcome to Govberg, and thanks for logging on. Today, we're looking at the Omega Seamaster 300 Master Co-Axial in stainless steel and 18-karat Sedna rose gold. You can see this Omega Seamaster on our website, govbergwatches.com. Buy it there, and if you enjoy these videos, please subscribe to our YouTube channel and download our app, Govberg On Time, for the latest news, views, and reviews of luxury watches. Now, on my wrist, 6 1/3 inches, 16 centimeters in circumference, this is a vintage-inspired watch with modern outright dimensions. Now you can see that the dial and the bezel are inspired by the original 1957 Omega Seamaster Professional. Now the Seamaster line goes back to 1948, but at that point it was more of a water-resistant dress watch. The 1957 Seamaster Professional launched the era of the Omega dive watch. Now this one is a generous 15 millimeters thick to match its 41 millimeter dimensions across the round of the case. 15 millimeters means that with that outward cantilevered bezel, it's not going to fit under the tightest sleeves or dress cuffs, but you should be okay with a sport jacket or a blazer. From lug to lug, the outermost outcropping that defines the horizontal measurement across the wrist is the solid end link of the bracelet. So from that point to its counterpart on the other side, the watch measures a substantial 52.5 millimeters. It also has immense heft on the wrist. Now, it would be one thing to conclude that it's simply a function of precious metal, but I believe that most of that heft actually comes from the steel. The watch having the quality of a modern Rolex, feeling all of a piece and very much like a precious metal watch, even when entirely wrought in steel. Add rose gold and the watch becomes something really impressive on the wrist. Fortunately, all that mass is nicely counterweighted by the underside of the bracelet and a very substantial twin trigger milled steel deployant clasp. This is a huge upgrade on the famous milled out clasps of the Bond Seamasters from the 1990s. It maintains the twin trigger milled out swing arm design, but it adds a very clever push button slider. So you have over a centimeter of adjustment built in, and it is incremental. Simply by pushing the button, you can adjust the watch to fit over a wetsuit if you like, or if you're like me, simply adjusting it to cope with your activity, active, inactive, hot day, cold day, or even to make it fit over a large winter sweater, as I often did when I was up in New Hampshire. The bottom line is that this watch also works wonderfully as a timepiece. There really is no compromise here. Now, Omega uses its Ceragold bezel, very much like liquid metal with a conventional Omega ceramic bezel. Ceragold impregnates the ceramic with an 18-karat alloy that is bonded to the ceramic, so it effectively becomes just as resilient as the nearly scratch-proof ceramic itself. And ceramic being effectively as scratch-resistant as a sapphire crystal, this watch is going to wear well in the long term. It's also a true dive bezel with a luminescent pearl, so you can align it with the minute hand and turn it into an impromptu analog 60-minute chronograph. Also nice is the detent and the ratchet. It sounds good, it feels good. A low quality or unsatisfying dive bezel can often ruin a dive watch. I'm happy to say Omega did its homework here and got the feel and the sound just right. As a watch, this is a triumph because you can see the dial is easily legible. Quarter Arabics, large indices, fully loomed. It does have a little bit of a simulated radium patina to evoke those surviving examples of the 1950s and early 60s Omega Seamasters. But the thing that strikes me about this dial is how much it reminds me of a Panerai sandwich dial construction. Each of the indices is actually a bit of loom sunken into a well in the dial, so it has a little bit of three-dimensional texture to it. And again, the closest comparison I can think of would be something like a Panerai sandwich dial. Now, other elements are pure Omega. You can see the broad arrow hour hand here, as well as the Omega marquee and script at 12 o'clock. Very legible. All elements are of the highest quality, and there are a couple of features that are hidden, ghosts in the machine until you call them out. And my favorite is the time zone hour hand function. Now you note the watch is still ticking, yet I can move the hour hand as I jump forward or backwards relative to GMT. So if I am a traveler, I can easily alter the time zone without stopping the balance and interrupting the timing precision of the watch, and likewise without altering the position of the minute hand. Of course, this is a COSC Psych! This is a Matas certified Swiss chronometer, not a COSC. This is actually part of the new Master Chronometer standard testing that Omega introduced at the end of 2014. So what does that mean? Well, unlike the COSC, it is a shorter period. It takes place over 4 days, but it includes a traumatic 15,000 Gauss hit with an ultra-powerful magnet. It tests water resistance, so it tests the watch itself, not just the movement. It has chronometric performance standards that do not allow for loss of time. So the famed +6, -4 over 24 hours does not apply here. Loss of time is not allowed. It also includes a complete test of power reserve, so the watch is put to the test to advertise, or rather to see if the advertised 55 to 60 hours of reserve is delivered in practice before the watch is delivered to the customer. Now, of course, it does feature 300 meters of water resistance, and the caliber 8400 here is part of the 8500 family, so it's part of that family of coaxial calibers, unhack the balance there, that are exclusive to the Omega line. Built for Omega by ETA, these are the most sophisticated movements that ETA constructs. Bidirectional winding is very smooth on the wrist. The watch features a full balance bridge, as you can see, with a free-sprung balance for resistance to shock-induced timing variations. It features the SI14 silicon hairspring for resistance to high magnetic flux density. And finally, it features the unique 25,200 vibration per hour beat rate that the Omega exclusive coaxial calibers, the ones built from the base plate up as coaxial calibers, employ. Coaxial, Matas certified, with an outstanding power reserve thanks to twin mainspring barrels, and an exclusive architecture. This is an impressive movement. But it's an impressive movement within an impressive watch. You can see this Omega Seamaster 300 Master Coaxial in stainless steel and 18-karat Sedna rose gold and buy it on our website, govbergwatches.com.